When researching graduate school programs, one thing many students value is financing for their education. In this video, we will cover different funding sources available for some graduate programs and sources to pay attention to during your graduate school search. One of the first things to pay attention to during your initial graduate school search is the cost of tuition. Graduate programs, like undergraduate programs, will often charge different tuition rates for students who are in-state versus students who are from out of state. These rates can differ significantly, so make sure you're tracking an accurate number. Another piece to consider is the type of degree you're seeking. Graduate programs can be a master's degree or it can be a PhD. Master's degrees take fewer years to complete, so they will often look like a cheaper option on paper. However, master's degrees are often self-funded, meaning a student pays for the degree themselves through loans or other funding opportunities. There are more funding opportunities for PhD students who often don't pay very much of the tuition themselves. One of the most common funding sources for graduate students is an assistantship. An assistantship is a position in which a college or university employs you in exchange for paying your tuition. Some assistantships also pay students a stipend for living expenses. You can expect to work for 20 or 30 hours a week in these roles. Assistantships typically fall into one of two categories: a research assistantship, where you are working in a research lab, or a teaching assistantship, where you are teaching an introductory level course. These two areas are the most common opportunities for science students, but other disciplines will allow students to have other types of assistantships, such as those in student life. When researching this type of funding, keep in mind that an assistantship might be part of your program, or you might have to search for it on your own. If you have questions about these opportunities for your programs of interest, reach out to the Director of Graduate Studies. They should be able to tell you how to find and apply for these things. Another graduate school funding source is fellowships and grants. It's a good idea to start researching opportunities for fellowships and grants as an undergraduate student because students must apply to some of them before beginning their graduate degree. If you aren't able to secure this type of funding before graduate school, keep seeking out these opportunities as a graduate student. Some fellowships and grants are only available for current graduate students. You can search for fellowships and grants in a number of places. Some institutions have fellowships open specifically for their students, and there are fellowships available through larger organizations like the ones pictured here on your screen. These are open nationally. Talk to a career coach for more information about getting connected to these opportunities at the University of Minnesota as an undergraduate student. So far, the information we've covered is likely to be found on a graduate school program's website. If you have more questions about what's written there or have questions about funding and ideas for finding funding, you can ask the Director of Graduate Studies at your programs of interest. The Director of Graduate Studies is going to be one of the best contacts for questions about the admissions process and learning about opportunities that aren't widely advertised. A more rare option for funding is through your employer. Every once in a while, an employer will offer tuition benefits to their employees. This often comes with earning a degree at a much slower pace, as they might only fund one class per semester. If you're interested in a career in industry and maybe going back to school later, this is one benefit you could look for during your job search. However, this benefit has become less common in recent years. If you are still looking for funding opportunities, you can pursue loans through the government or through private loan companies. Some of you may have completed the FAFSA as an undergraduate student, and you are eligible to complete this application again for graduate school. Any admissions officer or Director of Graduate Studies will have more information on this process for you as a graduate student. If you'd like to learn more about funding your graduate degree at the University of Minnesota, go to grad.umn.edu/funding. If you have additional questions about anything mentioned in this video, you are welcome to meet with a career coach for further discussion. You can schedule an appointment with a career coach at cbsss.appointments.umn.edu. Good luck.